Morning, hope you're trucking along well. Getting organised for shearing. So yeah, just spent the last couple of days, we've got the shed washed out, went and got the wool press. Those of you new to the channel, we run on our 4-stand shearing shed, so if you're interested, go back. Earlier on the year we put an extra stand on the shearing shed. The shearing contractor we had at the time, he was wanting an extra stand, so we got to, and we actually had a gap here between the two sheds, between the workshop and the existing shearing shed. We had about 3 metres, so we got to and just put a little lean-to and a bit more concrete, and then in turn extra stand and more shed space out the back. So just getting organised for that. What we've decided to do is we've taken all the machinery out of the back end of the shed. They're forecasting rain tomorrow, so shearers coming tomorrow. So what we've decided to do is get the machinery out. We've actually just stacked some big squares of straw. That's north. The weather comes from that way, so they've got 10 or 12 mil forecast for tomorrow. So what we've decided is today we'll bring all the sheep in with the shed and the yards. We might nearly hold all the sheep for shearing. We'll get everything under cover anyway, and then if we do get 10 mil or something tomorrow, the boys can keep going. It's quite warm. It's a bit foggy and crappy this morning, but I think it will clear. It's pretty mild actually. We've let the fire go out in the house. We've got a wood heater in the house, so we didn't have it last night. We've just we've got reverse cycle heater as well, so we've just been running that. Plan is this morning, need to run some lambs in here. We've had a few ewes get through between a couple of gates. There's a bit of a gap, so we've had a few ewes get in with some lambs. So plan is we'll run those lambs in now and get those half a dozen ewes out, and then we can hopefully by then the sun might be up a bit, or the wind gets up and blows the fog away, but the ewes will be a bit wet on the back this morning, so I sort of don't probably want to bring them in here too early under cover because they might not dry out. So shearers don't like wet sheep, so we'll just have to play that one out. Alright, the day's beaten me somewhat. I had an unexpected trip to Shepparton, which is it's about an hour's drive from here, so that burnt up about 3 hours of my day. What are we? A bit after dark now, 6 o'clock, up past 6 or something. So good news is we've got all the sheep under cover. With what's in the shed, we've got about 1,500. Well, there's 1,500 here. So our temporary, as long as the sheep don't eat it between now and morning, which they are taking a bit of a liking to the barley straw. So, we've got. If we do get rain tomorrow, we've got everything dry. We can get everything shorn, which is good. What I've done here, and it was because we put this shed up. The yards were already here when we put this shed up. The yards do, in a couple of spots, protrude past the shed. So I've just got some portable panels and just pulled those sheep in, just in case the rain sort of does blow in a little bit, just so they don't get wet. They might get a little bit damp, but we'll just see. I've got plenty here where they'll be nice and dry. So anyway, we'll liaise again in the morning, and hopefully things go to plan and go smoothly tomorrow. Morning, everyone. So day one of shearing is in the books. Actually, the start of day two. So yeah, first day went incredibly well. So new contractor. Sorry, there's you can hear the sheep in the background in the shed. New contractor, and boys have come in. Yeah, very professional setup. So I think shearers. I think we had an Irishman, an Englishman, a Scotsman, and a Kiwi. Sounds like the start of a very funny joke. Anyway, these guys have come in and they actually shorn 900 for the day. So to put that in perspective, our previous contractor, it would have taken them 2 and a bit days to do that. So hence we were pretty busy, hence I didn't get any sort of footage from day one. So I'll try and get a bit today. Set the GoPro up with a bit of time lapse, and I might even take a bit off my phone. I'm a bit wary of wandering around with the big camera, so I might just take a bit with my phone, and yeah, just to keep everyone happy, just in case someone's not all that keen on having the camera waved around. But look, all really good blokes. Yeah, no fuss. So yeah, we were pretty busy in the yards, just when needed, giving everything a vaccination off the board, and also a back line for just a lice preventative as well. So yeah, but we've got a bit of wool around us. I think, I don't know what there is, 10 or 11 bales or something so far. Just have a look here. Yeah, wool's nice and clean with the plenty of rain and that sort of stuff. There's not a lot of dirt and that in it, so it is quite clean and good. Morning tilt. So yeah, 4 shearing stands. The wool press, for those who aren't familiar with wool press or haven't seen any of my last videos, this is what a wool press is, and basically you just keep feeding the fleeces in here. And then you've got that plunger that's hydraulically driven, and it just keeps pushing it down. And then here you've got these spring-loaded spring-loaded fingers on each 4 corners, and that essentially keeps the wool. The plunger can go down past that, and then come back up, and that keeps the wool in the bale. Yeah, so these bales end up, they're about 190 kilos, these 190 to 200 kilos, so they can't be any heavier than 205, otherwise they, yeah, you get penalised because they're too heavy, and they've got to be a minimum of 120, I think. So, but generally that's where they are. So, yeah, so it's all ticked along really well. So we've basically only got probably 3/4 of a day left. So I'm just actually going to go out to the other farm and start and bring the rams home, because they should finish shearing the ewes by lunchtime, and then yeah, we'll get into getting the ram shorn, and that'll be about it for this shearing. So, but no, at the moment it's all going to plan. But no, it's a bit of a shock to the system, them shearing so quick. So just, I suppose, just to give you a bit of an idea, you know, guys, they've all shorn over 200 a day. So I think the going rate now that they'll get themselves is about $5 a head. So, you know, these blokes are making over $1,000 a day. So it's, you know, do that 5 days a week. It's pretty good money, you know. It's, yeah, $250,000 a year if you're shearing 50 weeks a year, which a lot of them would be. But these guys, one of the Irish fellow, pretty quiet bloke, very unassuming. He sort of wandered in, didn't say a hell of a lot, not a super big bloke. He would have been about 75 kgs, dripping wet, I reckon, and short 230 for the day. Mind you, I sort of thought he was a learner, but anyway. And yeah, should never assume, which yeah, anyway, but he's been in Canada shearing, and then he's
he's come out here, so he's travelling around making money, and he won't have any shortage of work because there's shearers are in demand everywhere. So anyway, all good. Morning, lads. Let's all behave ourselves. No one being silly. Come on. Well, shearing is done. We've ended up with about 24 or 5 bales of wool, which is pretty stock standard. One thing I probably didn't mention earlier on is we shear twice a year, so every 6 months. Obviously now, which is August, and then we shear again late February, early March before we lamb. So with the rams and a few odds and ends, the guys did we did about 1,500, so they finished about 3 o'clock. As I said earlier, usually we're 4 days, 4 and a bit days to do that. So having guys that can shear big numbers makes a bloody huge difference. So yeah, now we're Brendan was away today. So yeah, Tony and I are joking. We've got to now try and find something to do tomorrow. But yeah, joke, there's plenty to do. So anyway, a couple of things I was just going to touch on that I haven't probably explained. So the wool bales, I did sort of touch on them earlier on, just about their weight and that sort of stuff. So we brand them, we've got stencils, so obviously JB and then our property name. That number there is the classes, so the wool is basically classed on, it's measured in micron, so I get the shadow out of the shadow. But yeah, so there's different microns, broadness, that sort of thing. So we've got a classer that basically grades the wool essentially. So that's his identification to say that he's classed the wool. That's the type of wool it is. So that's a 3am merino, and then your bale number, and then on the head of the bale, we've also got a little thing that we write on with texter with same thing. It's got the class has got a little stamp that he stamps it with, and then bale number. The bin code, you can have different sort of what they call lines of wool. So if that was M, which is here, it's upside down, but that's an M, so that's the main line of wool. B will be maybe broader, perhaps, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't actually ask him about that. And then we basically have a vendor declaration here with just how many bales, the different sorts of wool. So we've got bellies, what they call the locks, which is just the little, like what's on the floor here. Well, that's real little, but yeah, the little bits and pieces. And then what they call the pieces, which is the skirtings off the main pieces. So basically list all what bales you've got, and then also that the wool's from a non-mules flock, which our ewes aren't mules, and yeah, the guys where we buy our wool buy our sheep from, haven't been mulesing for quite some time. Yeah, so that then goes with the wool when they come and pick it up. Goes to a depot. Then they'll test each bale individually, and then those samples go on to essentially an auction site, or it's a live auction with the wool. So it's basically they just send a test sample of what you've got, how many bales, and then the wool's sold on. I'm not sure whether it's generally lotted together or how it sort of works, but yeah, that's how the marketing side of it works. With the rams that you saw, the bit of footage I had off there, I actually took that footage with my phone. I spoke to Sandy, the guy that's sort of managing the crew this morning, and just said whether he mind if I did the time lapse and took a bit of footage, and told him that we had a channel, and yeah, he was all for it, so that was cool. But I just did it with my phone rather than with the main camera. So yeah, just shearing ewes. And then also with the rams, when we do the rams, we actually sedate them. So we get a sedation from the vets, and then yeah, we give them a sedation. We sedate them about half an hour before we shear them. Don't knock them out altogether, but it just takes. You got to think some of these rams are 100 plus kilos. Now the guy that I spoke about earlier on, who I thought was Irish, is actually Canadian, come from Canada. Tony asked him how heavy he was, if I can get it out. He's 52 kilos. So he's dragging out an animal that's essentially twice his weight. So we just we sedate them, and it just takes the edge off them a bit. Sometimes they'll sit down when we let them out. They'll just sit down and essentially go to sleep and sleep it off like I would if I had a general anaesthetic. But yeah, they're just so they don't kick. They're a bit easier to handle and that sort of stuff. So that's what we do with the rams, just to make it a bit easier on the shearers, because they are big animals, and yeah, they can be bits of thrashing machines. Yeah, when they want to be, if you're not careful. So we've been doing that for quite a while now. So yeah, as I said, everything was vaccinated and backlined, and everything's back out in the paddock now. That's about shearing for this round. 6 months time will come around again. Going to shear lambs again in about we're going to shear our lambs in about a month's time, so we'll be back in here again. But yeah, the guys did, as I said, about 1,500 in a day and 3 runs. So it's probably, I don't think I did mention it. When I talk a run is 2 hours, so they've got 4 2-hour runs for the day. So they do an 8-hour day. So yeah, it's hard work, but when you see these guys that can shear big numbers, they make it look quite easy. So anyway, thanks for watching again. Hope you enjoyed this one. Something a bit different. It was a bit all over the place. Sorry, and sorry there's been a bit of a gap between videos, but we're just there's a bit happening, and it's just me remembering to take the camera with me when I'm doing it. So anyway, enjoy. I'll catch you on the next one. Ta-da.